To create a new vampire, a sire must pull out a fang and then pierce it straight through the victim's heart. A seed is planted and over time it grows. The seed sprouts and grows tendrils until every part of the body is consumed by it, changing it, remolding it. The transformation is slow and gradual, and continues to happen over the course of the vampire's endless life. As they age, they become more monstrous and more powerful. But what the final transformation is, no one knows. But sometimes this process can go wrong. If the sire's fang penetrates somewhere other than the victim's heart, then the process falters. Instead of a new vampire, a Moroni is born. Instead of a slow and gradual process, the change is sudden and violent. The vital energy stored in the vampire's fang explodes all at once, and the failed vampire is corrupt, deformed into a horrid, bloodthirsty beast. These lower vampires don't live long, fated to a messy, worthless death instead. In other rarer cases, if the fang punctures the heart and the process is successful, other things may interrupt the changing. Argyria, silver poisoning, interrupts the process of becoming a full vampire, keeping the victim somewhere in the middle, between a full vampire and a human. They are able to walk freely during the day, while transforming into a vampire at night, living in both worlds. This type of in-between vampire is called a Dawnwalker. The story of the Dawnwalker begins in 1349 AD when Cohen is turned, but the story of the Valkyrie takes place more than 1,000 years before. In 131 AD, deep in the middle of the Roman Empire, a noble family gives birth to a baby boy, Cassio Brenis Laurentius. Cassio grew up with wild ambitions and the ability to achieve those dreams. He joined the ranks of senators and then quickly rose to the top of Roman officialdom with the goal of becoming the next consul. As a senator, he led entire legions into battle, spanning multiple wars. War, combat, strategy, and killing were in his blood, and he was good at it. Every success was at his fingertips until he was turned into a vampire. His dreams were shattered, but that didn't stop his hunger for power. He is proud of where he came from and proud of his heritage, but after becoming a vampire, he retreated into the shadows. Xanthi, too, has a long, mysterious past, but for her, it's unknown how old she truly is, just that she is so old that she doesn't even remember where she came from. Once a priestess from a remote Greek island, she has forgotten the name of her homeland. All that is known about her is that she is older than Brenis, and she is the oldest vampire in Vale Sangora. Xanthi listens to the voices from the beyond, and she seems to have a better understanding of the world more than anyone, and that understanding has made her terrified. She surrounds herself with her blood guards, choosing the most devoted and zealous of her supporters. To sustain them, she lets her creations drink straight from her own veins, surviving on her old blood. In turn, they are completely loyal to their master, ready to protect her from whatever she is most terrified of. When Bakir was a human, he spent decades galloping across the dry steppes of Central Asia, burning, trampling, and pillaging everything in his path, bloodthirsty even before becoming a vampire. He always saw other humans as playthings, playing sick games with them as he murdered them in cold blood. When he was turned, he remained in the shadows, resenting his new life. He wanted people to know his name and fear him as they once did. Just a few years before Brenis' takeover, Ambrose was one of Skender's men, until one day he stood against his liege lord, who in turn punished the insolent mercenary by pouring boiling water down his throat. This was just one moment of pain and humiliation in a long line of many for Ambrose. As he lay dying, forgotten in a dark dungeon from his lord's punishment, Brenis found him. He offered to turn Ambrose for his unquestionable loyalty, and Ambrose agreed. When he was turned, he wanted revenge on the world and on those who stood against him. Now, as a younger vampire, he is out to prove himself with no line he won't cross. In the year 1347 AD, deep in the Carpathian Mountains, Vale Sangora was beginning to change. A plague decimates the population, and the human rulers prove unfit to handle the Black Death. Many are infected, And as the infection spreads, those who are found ill are hunted and executed. Men, women, and children, no one is spared. As tensions build, those waiting in the shadows see an opportunity. Tired of hiding in the dark, Brenis steps forward to claim the land, which is how he comes to meet Cohen. Born in the village of Laslia, Cohen lived a simple life, working in the mines alongside his father since he was a child. They worked hard to take care of their family. Cohen's mother, Esme, his brother Mitro, and his two sisters, Yana and Lunka, all depended on Cohen. But he dreamed of adventure and a life outside of the valley. He also knew that he could never leave his family because they needed him, and so his dreams remained as only that. Cohen was close with his family, especially his little sister Lunka, who he guided and protected the most. And while he took on the majority of the responsibility of taking care of his family, Cohen did have a mentor. A former mercenary became a father-like figure to Cohen, Peter. It was under Peter that Cohen lived a secret life. He studied Latin and swordsmanship in hopes of one day finally leaving his small village. Life in Laslia was simple but rough. The ruler of Vale Sangora held the common people in deep disdain and made sure that they knew it. He ruled through fear and force until eventually the peasants took a stance against their hateful lord. They rose in masses, trying to rid Vale Sangora of Skender. But their pitchforks and scythes were no match for his swords and pikes. The rebellion was ended faster than it began. But some survived until the end, and these rebels found themselves at Shrike's Crag. With nowhere to go, they begged Skender for mercy, which he didn't have. Instead, he used them as an example, teaching the people of Vale Sangora a lesson they'd never forget. He brutally massacred them to the point that blood seeped into the gravel. The cries of pain and death echoed off the cliffs, and the place became forever scarred. Most people avoid it, and those who do enter Shrike's Crag are never heard from again. Living under Skender was oppressive, and when the plague swept through the townspeople, he wanted them all dead. When Cohen's little sister Lunka became infected with the Black Plague, Cohen does everything to keep her from being executed. He grabs his little sister and tries to flee, but he is intercepted by Brenis and his lieutenants as they hunt down the human lord, Skender Dragosti. Brenis intervenes to stop Lunka from being killed by Skender, right in the final moment. He then kills Skender, destroys his crown, and then kills all of his men. Having just saved Lunka, Brenis forces her to drink his blood, curing her of her illness. This event would be the catalyst to Brenis taking over Vale Sangora. In just one night, Brenis and his henchmen take over, killing Skender, many nobles, and anyone who would stand against them. Curing Lunka would also be the beginning of Brenis and his blood tax. Brenis and his allies are swift and absolute in their takeover. One of his first decrees is to split the valley into 3, one dominion for each of his officers. Xanthi, Bakir, and Ambrose all rule the valley in Brenis' name. Ambrose is the youngest vampire, tasked with stockpiling blood and managing the draining dungeons. He rules the northern parts of Vale Sangora, and he is beloved by the people. Bakir is Brenis' most powerful lieutenant. He craves bloodshed. Under his rule, his subjects are obedient and terrified. He hands out rewards to those who support his regime, and is in charge of alcohol distilling and distribution. He also runs his lunar tournament, a series of depraved games that he lures his subjects to take part in, and it ends in a bloodbath every single time. Bakir rules the southern-western parts of Vale Sangora. What Xanthi does and why someone as powerful as her would join Brenis is a mystery. But her main task is to create the Blood Guards, the elite soldiers of the vampiric regime. When she isn't tending to her creations, she is doing things no one understands. Many question her dark rituals and disappearances, resulting in many rumors wondering what she is really doing and what she is capable of. She rules the southeastern parts of Vale Sangora. While his loyal officers rule the valley, Brenis rules directly from the capital city of Vale Sangora, Svartrau. After slaughtering Skender, he took his castle, Griefberg, and rarely leaves, because he doesn't have to. In the 2 years since his takeover, the people of Vale Sangora have accepted their new ruler and his blood tax. Those that stand against him are quickly taken care of by his lieutenants, but few stand against the vampire lord because his methods have been so effective. To control the people, Brenis uses his own blood to heal the people of Vale in exchange for their unquestionable obedience, a blood tax. He worked hard to convince the people of Vale that this would be their new normal. So he twisted their religious beliefs and used them against the devout, preying on the social turmoil following the plague. He turned himself into this messianic figure by introducing things like blood masses and blood baptisms. During his monthly blood masses, he feeds on the humans to replenish himself. In turn, his blood cures them of all illness, payment for keeping them safe. Laws and punishments were also changed, using blood draining as a form of order, draining criminals dry. Shrines were also built to resemble Brenis and strengthen his image. Coins were also made in his image, and new frescoes were painted over old ones to tell his story. Some loved this new way of life. It provided order and not only locked the valley off, but Brenis also secured it. Some even thrive under Brenis' rule, their children growing strong and healthy, now free of illness. But his demands were high, and his punishments even higher. Some stood against him, desperate in their time of need, some even turning to dark magic to help. While some looked to dark magic, most looked to the faith in these tumultuous times. The plague and regime change brought many to Father Florin. Before Brenis, he was the personal confessor of Skender, but after Brenis conquered Vale and used the faith to secure his rule, Father Florin became a key figure under Brenis. Now serving as the head of the Blood Covenant, Brenis' church, he is the main source of propaganda, twisting each atrocity committed by the Vakir as a way to ensure their rule. His sermons and new ways have influenced the people. He also performs every blood mass rite in the Svartrau Cathedral, a ceremony that Brenis always attends, despite rarely leaving his castle. He also travels to the villages to spread his sermons about the great Vakir. He even performs blood masses on newborns, ensuring they too are part of Brenis' new world. Aside from his powerful words, Father Florin sees sin everywhere in everyone. It's why he supports Brenis in the first place. Brenis was simply rooting out the evil and sin in the world. Father Florin suspects everyone, even Anka and Peter, Cohen's father figure and mentor. Alongside the corrupt father, others have thrived under the vampire's rule. The Uriashi once had been hunted to near extinction in a previous age, but after Brenis took over, he discovered them in the mountains, isolated from everyone else. Seeing them as useful, he enlisted them to join his army. The mountain folk are used to being hidden from humans, even intentionally causing avalanches to sweep away those who came close. But now they are in the cities and villages, free to do what they please under Brenis' rule, as long as they remain loyal to him. For those that have survived the 2 years under Brenis' new rule, Vale has changed drastically, especially Svartrau. What was once a rich and lively town has become somber and filled with those who fear upsetting the vampire lord. Many were debilitated from the plague and the fights that followed, and many orphans beg on the cathedral steps, looking for warm meals. It is now unsafe, and many live harder lives than they did before. Because of this unrest, some have joined together to stand against Brenis in secret. This rebellion is led by a man named Marat, also known as Crake, an alias and powerful name in the war against the vampires. Marat is cautious of those around him, constantly on guard because of his secret and dangerous position. Those who wish to join him must prove their dedication to the cause. And while some have stood against the vampires, some are simply trying to get by, like Cohen and his family. In the 2 years since his sister was saved by Brenis, Cohen's mother is no longer eating. She is withering away, becoming weak, something the vampires detest. Desperate to save his mother, Cohen tries to find herbs to increase her strength before the blood mass takes place. What exactly happens during the night of the blood mass is up to you, the player, and it can be played out in different ways. But regardless, the people of Cohen's hometown are attacked by the Vakiri, and most of the people of Leslia are killed and the city is burned to the ground. Brenis turns Cohen into a vampire and kidnaps his surviving family members, planning to use them and their blood in his coronation in 30 days' time. This begins Cohen's story. The new Dawnwalker only has 30 days until the coronation and only 30 days to save his family. But Cohen is forever changed. Instead of becoming the vampire as Brenis intended, he becomes a Dawnwalker, a human by day and vampire by night, due to his lifetime exposure to silver from the mines. The poisoning weakens Cohen, but also protects him from becoming a vampire fully. He can choose to fight Brenis and stand with the humans, or lean more into his darker vampire side. But if he does stand against the vampire lord, Brenis will fight tooth and nail to stop Cohen. New edicts will make Cohen's life and mission harder, so he looks for help from others. He meets Anka and Lacra and Marat. They help Cohen along his journey, teaching him witchcraft, hexes, about his vampirism, and how to survive his new life. Anka is the village healer and she has known Cohen for some time. She is intelligent, even able to speak Latin. She shares her knowledge with Cohen, teaching him how to read and see more than what meets the eye. But Anka has a secret. She does not speak of her past before becoming an herbalist, but her past haunts her. Once serving God at St. Tina's convent, she was a nun, but the life of a nun wasn't for Anka. All these years later, she is unable to forget what once was and cannot stop mourning what could have been. But she refuses to revisit her past. When Cohen is in danger, something awakens inside of her, and she knows that she must take Cohen back to a place she vowed to never return, a place filled with hidden power and knowledge. Anka helps Cohen through his journey, and he comes to rely on her and her magic. When Lacra was turned is unknown, but she has dedicated herself to stopping Brenis. She was sent to Vale Sangora on a dangerous secret mission, hell-bent on revenge, but whose center and what she truly wants are a mystery. Cohen will gain allies and enemies throughout his journey, venturing through the astral plane, speaking to the dead, and even turning into a wolf, all while he tries to save his family in 30 days. How will you play your Cohen? Will you try to save your family as fast as you can? Will you go meet Brenis immediately? Or will you take Cohen down a darker path? And what lies ahead for Cohen's future? Blood of Dawnwalker is intended to be the first installment in a saga about Cohen. Choices and consequences are supposedly intended to carry over to future games and stories. And with this tease we've been shown, it seems like his story could go anywhere, during any time. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching this. I am so sorry about any pronunciation issues that I had. I tried to watch a few videos to make sure I was saying things correctly, but I did also see that the devs said that they're going to release a pronunciation guide. So I'm sorry. I hope in the future I can be better about it. Please forgive me. But that is everything that I could find for the story of Blood of the Dawnwalker. I'm really excited to play this game and kind of get invested in the lore. So far, it seems like there's some really good stuff there. And it's been a while since I found myself wanting to explore a new open world RPG. So hopefully this will be the first of many in this world. If you play Blood of the Dawnwalker, please let me know what you think. And if there's any specific lore topics you would like me to cover. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll see you next time.